Welcome in, episode number 73, baby. We are marching ever so closely to the kickoff of the college football season. Here we have just wrapped up the front half of the Big Ten. We're here to give you the back half. I kind of prefer the back half. And we'll tell you why here in a minute. Joining me, as per usual, friend and co-host, and Hoodie Zach is in the building, folks. So you know it's a special time. He's pulling out the hoodie. Zach, how are we doing on this Be Happy Friday, baby?
Hey, we're doing good. How far away are we from college football?
I want to say 8 days. Am I right about that? 8 days?
Oh my goodness.
Am I right about that? 8 days?
That's almost as high as I can count.
I mean, luckily, we can count past 8 because that's the max you can get after a touchdown is 8. So, we've got that under control. Factors of 8, anything having to do with 8 and below. We've got the factors. We've got everything you could possibly mathematically ask us. But past that, we're just useless. Just absolutely useless. Look, we talked about the front half of this Big Ten, Zach, and it's just, weak as a limp noodle. Now we come to the back half here. Kind of give me your thoughts of what listeners might be able to just prepare themselves for that we're about to drop on them with this heavy hitting back half of the Big Ten.
A lot of double-digit win totals, that's for sure. I probably would argue that the national champion that season is going to come from this back half of the Big Ten.
Very well so, and that doesn't mean just one team. There are multiple teams out there that have their fingertips on that coveted spot that you are mentioning. Let's just go ahead and jump right into it because I know people are itching to get into this. Ohio State's going to start us off here, and well, we weren't joking when we said we were starting with the big boys. This is a big boy right here, Zach. Look, we're once again referencing CBS Sports here for this list. It came out, quite a while ago, but nothing has changed really as far as kind of the perception of this team, Zach. They bring in Will Howard from Kansas State. A lot of people think that he is the answer for the Buckeyes. They're comparing him to the likes of people that I might not even name, Josh Allen. Is this something that Big Ten opponents need to worry about Will Howard in this team, or is this more about the other parts that aren't named Will Howard?
Well, all I'm going to say is that a Big 12 backup is a Big 10 starter, right? And that seems to be the case here with Will Howard. Starting at Ohio State, I'm not so sure about it. He couldn't do any better, Ryan Day. He couldn't do any better. I guess we'll see. We'll see. They're definitely not going undefeated.
Yeah, CBS has them going untouched. That's where they've got the Ohio State Buckeyes. The over/under to win total is 10.5, and it's 10.5 all the way across the board, unless you're looking at the last two spots here on Vegas Insider. It has them at 9.5, which I think speaks volumes here, Zach, because confidence would have you say that the 10.5 is the proper line here. But when you have two books go 9.5, Zach, that means that there's the potential this is an 8-win team. Are we looking at an 8-win team right here?
This is a 10-win team. This is a 10-win team. It's simple. They lose to Oregon. They lose to Michigan. That's it's simple. It's simple.
Yeah,
you don't have to put anything else on it. They lose to Oregon. They lose to Michigan. They just don't have the offense. They don't have the coaching. They don't have the quarterback.
A lot of people, and I know me and you experienced this firsthand. Quishon Judkins, man, spin move is legit. They nerfed it. They had to nerf it. They had to nerf it. For College Football 25, the video game, folks. And a lot of people were saying if this guy is really this good, Will Howard is not a factor here. And I feel like that could be right, but at the same time, it's not. Yeah, so I'm saying it's not. But I mean, if he was that good as he was in the video game, then yeah. But let's get back to reality here, folks. This is an Ole Miss transfer who was a workhorse for the Rebels. and had to take relief off of Jackson Dart, I would be kind of is comparing the Dart Judkins combo comparable to Howard Judkins here, because I think there's a lot of similarities there.
Yeah, exactly. And there's going to be a lot of similarities in win total.
I mean,
It's that simple.
yeah, and I think the thing is, you look at the other opponents, guys, and we're gonna list them off right here. Akron's a W, Western Michigan's a W, Marshall. I mean, Marshall's a good team, right? Like, we know they're not bottom of the barrel bad, right? But they're not gonna be able to hang with them. I mean, look, they were able to hang with Notre Dame when Notre Dame had nobody. Okay, let's just be honest. That Notre Dame team wasn't good. It was highly overrated, and we knew that going into the season. So Marshall beating them was not a surprise. I was happy because I
Of
know the
course.
tight end Devin Miller, and I was happy for him that he got a touchdown catch and was able to beat a highly ranked team. It was very exciting for me personally, but that's very anecdotal. You just take a step back, and see the forest for the trees here. This is not that Marshall team, A, and B, it's Ohio State and it's at home in the shoe. They probably get that done.
Yeah,
Uh,
they're not losing to any of these teams. They're not losing to Akron. They're not losing to Western Michigan. They're not losing to Marshall. Michigan State at Michigan State it's tricky
yeah, it's tricky. I
because
mean,
I'm not a Will Howard believer.
no, I'm not. No, that's the thing. That's the thing. That's the thing. That's what I've been preaching since day one. I'm like, I mean, look, I know they made an attempt at Dylan Gabriel. I know they did. They offered him the money. They
Of
had the
course,
money, and you know what? Phil Knight said, "Fuck you. I can give him more money." And that
you know
and
it's fumbled Quinn Ewers. That's really what it
yeah,
is.
and yeah, that's the big thing is they fumbled Quinn Ewers. Where is he at? He's down in Texas, establishing himself as a starter over somebody named
Exactly.
Arch Manning. And the thing is when Ohio State fans look at Quinn Ewers and they look at Will Howard, they're going to notice something. And the thing is what we've seen in Big 12 country for years now is Will Howard's not Quinn Ewers. Okay, like he's
Not
way
even
worse than
close.
Quinn Ewers. Okay, like this is not a guy that when he was going off, right? When he was popping off, when he first started getting the job for the Wildcats, when he was a backup, right? He was a backup, started getting some reps, started looking really good. It's easy to look good when no one has any tape on you. Once they got tape on the guy, guess what happens? Bad things happen. And look, Kansas State didn't have bad years. Zach, that wasn't bad years. It's just this
No.
is not the caliber quarterback that you would expect to see behind center at Ohio State.
Yeah, and it's not like they're going to have a bad season. They're just not going to be able to win this national championship like all
No.
these, people are predicting that they're going to. I mean, they finished? I think in the preseason poll they are what, number 2? I don't like that.
High. It's real high.
They're number 4.
Number 4. Okay.
I'll give them number 4.
I mean, because they're like you said, they're not. This is not going to be a garbage team, and their schedule helps them out a lot, right? We've covered the first couple of games here. Iowa's a win, Nebraska's a win, Penn State on the road. Everybody always makes it out to a big deal, but guess what? Penn State always chokes that one off. All right, that's a win. All right, like
Yeah,
yeah,
and
it's
they're just not on the map anymore like they used to be.
no, they're
They're
not
really
on.
not.
Yeah, they're not. They're not on the map anymore. They've got a couple players that were in the top 100. That list that came out, recently, and a lot of people want to, hang their hats on that. Um, but I mean, that's 2 players out of 100, and they were in like the 50s and 70s. It wasn't like it was,
Yeah,
it wasn't top 10 guys. This is a Penn State team that, as a unit, is going to be good, but they're not going to be good enough to beat Ohio State, even with Will Howard back there at quarterback. So yeah, that's definitely something to think about there. Purdue's probably a W at home. I mean, we've seen Purdue do some crazy things in the past, but again, we're not expecting anything from the Boilermakers. I know that they've got Hudson Card there quarterbacking them, another Texas quarterback that went to a Big Ten school. So something to look at there, something to kind of have a storyline if there is one. But that's a W. Northwestern's so god awful, it doesn't matter where they're playing that game. That's a W. Indiana's a W. They're a dumpster fire. And like you said, Michigan, I think that's more of a toss-up. I mean, I think it'll depend on where the teams are at that time. But I think that I would lean Michigan right now.
yeah, I'm leaning Michigan, and that's just because of the D line. And like you said, Will Howard's not going to be able to really do too much. I don't see him throwing 300 yards a game or anything like that. He's probably like around a 200 yard a game quarterback if I had to guess, just because of how talented his weapons are. So yeah, they're going to be handing the ball off a lot, and Michigan has that front line to deal with that.
Yeah, I mean that's just kind of the bottom line there. So look, we both think this is going to be a good season. I have them going 10-2. You have them going 11-1. Is that right?
No,
Oh,
I
so
said
you're
10
10.
and 2.
Okay, so we're both
Yeah.
10-2. We're
Lost
both.
to lost to Oregon, lost to
Yeah,
Michigan.
that's exactly where I'm leaning as well. I think the Ducks get the W. I think Michigan gets the W. The big one in question for a lot of people is that Oregon game. A lot of people are already giving Ohio State the win over Michigan. So there's a lot to unpack there, but I think this is at least a 10-win team. They're a playoff team. They're probably going to host a
Yeah,
playoff game. They're going to host a playoff game. But they're not winning a
probably.
chip. But it's going to be a good season, and people will be content. But Ryan Day's probably going to get canned.
Yeah, I think so, and I think he deserves to. I don't think he's a good coach. He's inherited a lot of good players, and he got lucky a couple times, but he um, fumbled a lot. I mean, that's all I'm going to say. Uh, and a big thing regarding Ohio State. Big thing regarding Ohio State. They're just not beating Oregon.
Which is the next team on our list, and I'm gonna be honest, I'm high on the Ducks like I'm high right now, baby. I mean, I am sky high on the Ducks. Zach, kind of give us a breakdown here. Again, 10.5 win total. Unlike Ohio State, it's 10.5 all the way across the sports books. They have them going 11-1 here with a loss to Ohio State here on CBS. Kind of break down what the Ducks have at their disposal, and kind of give me your thoughts on where the season's headed for the Oregon Ducks.
Undefeated. That's where the season's headed. I think they're undefeated, #1 in the country. I think Oregon has it. I think you think Oregon has it too. And I'll tell you what, October 12th is going to be a hell of a fucking day.
I mean, talk about being embedded in your couch, right? Like just embedded, just like
Yes.
4 cases deep. Just I mean, like
One beer, 2 beer,
yeah, it's
3 beers.
yeah. There's a lot happening on the 12th. I mean, talk about a weekend where if your friend's got a wedding, you can shove it up his ass. I mean,
Not going.
not
Not
going.
going.
No, sorry, buddy. Like Grandpa's funeral.
the
Sorry,
shits.
pass. Grandpa would want me to watch this. I mean,
Yeah.
it's one of those days. But you look at the schedule, Zach. Idaho's a W, Boise State's a W, Oregon State's a W, UCLA's a W, Michigan State, Purdue, Illinois, Maryland, Wisconsin, Washington, Michigan, Ohio State. Right? Those are the 3 you kind of have to circle, but they don't play Ohio State until October 12th. That's going to be when the real season probably starts for either of those teams. It'll be a good test for both. But my measurement is this: Dylan Gabriel is better than Will Howard. That's my measuring stick, and that's all that needs to be said. That's all that needs to be said. There's nothing else needs to be said.
Well. The game is played in Oregon.
It's a home game, baby. I mean,
Yep.
it's gonna be rocking. If there was one game I could shovel money into a wheelbarrow and chuck myself into Autzen Stadium, it would be this game. But it's not gonna happen. I'm gonna be sitting on my couch. The thing is, it's probably gonna be cold. Probably gonna be raining. I expect it to be an overcast day, in Eugene.
I think you get to enjoy this game right after
It is
the OU Texas
It is correct.
game.
It is right after. It is right after OU Texas. So it is a doubleheader for the ages for me. I get to root against Texas in the morning, and I get to root against Ohio State at night. That's a good day for me.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful.
That's a good
it really
day
is.
for me. That's a good day for me. But look, I mean, there are things as an Oregon Ducks fan. I have to tell you, Zach. There are games on here that I do not like. There are games on here that I do not like, and I'm going to start with Oregon State. I don't like the Oregon State game. It's on the road in Corvallis. We hate playing in Corvallis. I mean, DJ Uiagalelei is going to be there. Not anymore, but he was there last year, and he gave us some fits. Now they've got a new guy back there, a quarterback. I think that's kind of the big thing for Oregon State is they don't have him anymore. He's off to Florida State. I mean, it's one of those trap games, right? Rivalry games always are a problem. Doesn't matter who you are. You talk about OU, OSU. You talk about Ohio State, Michigan. You talk about Oregon State, Oregon. Recently, in the last decade, I think those games have been more toss-ups than they deserve to be. But that's just reality. So that game kind of, and that's early in the season, Zach. So that kind of scares me a little bit, right? Like it's a non-conference game early on in the season. It's not going to hurt your chances of going to the Big Ten title game. That's the one thing I kind of have to be confident about. And B, we are the better team. There's no doubt we're the better team, but we've been the better team Back when Mariota was quarterback, we lost up there. When John Henderson was a quarterback for Oregon State or some shit, like I don't even know the dude's name. Like it was just an absolute fiasco up there. There's just weird things that happen in the night up there, and that's not going to be an 11 a.m. kick.
Yeah, exactly. But the difference now is that you have Dan Lanning, and he's a recruiting mastermind. He's already got secured the #1 class for 2025, and he's already got a bunch of recruits coming in this season. Not to mention getting Dillon Gabriel in the transfer portal.
Yeah, I mean, look, that's the positive, right? Like, and again, like as somebody that's obviously biased towards the Ducks, I have to try to squelch my expectations. Zach over here is gassing me up, properly so. He's probably right. I'm not gonna sit here and say he's wrong about anything he's saying, folks. I think he's hitting the nail on the head. I just don't want to admit it, because if I admit it, then bad things are gonna happen. Like, I mean, that's just how I feel about this team, because we've had chances. We've had seasons like this where we're where we need to be. We have the talent to do the job, and we just can't get it done. And there's no Cam Newton this year. There's nobody that I feel like stands in our way of getting the job done unless we hurt ourselves. And the only thing that I'm going to say is this: our team's success almost hinges on the health of Dillon Gabriel. I say almost because we've got good guys in the wings. I don't think it's not like we don't have bad young guys. I just trust DG more than I trust these guys, because he has the experience. And you can't have a better experience than being the quarterback at OU and going to the other quarterback of OU. I mean, it's one of the best transitions. It's not even it's like almost a lateral move almost. I mean, it's a little bit better in this scenario because of their schedule and kind of what they've got around them. But I think as far as like what you're going to see defensively, it's not like it was when he was going from UCF to OU. There wasn't a big jump in competition as far as what he's going to see talent-wise on the defensive side of the football. There's going to be, in my opinion, even maybe a slight drop-off. To be brutally honest, I think Big 12 defenses last year are better than Big 10 defenses will be this year, according to their schedule. UCLA, not a good defense. Michigan State, good defense, terrible offense. Purdue, not a good defense. Illinois, not a good defense, pretty good offense. They're going to be okay. Michigan, really good defense, right? Like that's probably your Michigan. I mean, Maryland bad on both sides of the ball. I mean, Talia gives you a chance to score some points, but your defense is so atrocious, you're not escaping the fact that we're probably going to drop 50 plus on them. Wisconsin, I mean, that's the late game season, so if it's snowing up there in Madison, that could be an issue.
It could be a dangerous game. Listen, it's up there in Wisconsin.
Camp Randall, they rock that place. That place gets absolutely turned.
That's going to be in late November, too.
It's going to be cold. I mean, DG does not play well in the cold. So
that's going to be interesting, because it gets cold in Oregon, too.
I mean, in Washington, another game that a lot of people just kind of sloughed off to the side. My question to you is, Will Rogers or Will Howard, which one's better?
I'm going to go Will Howard.
Which makes me feel better. Now. Yeah, it makes me feel better. But I mean, that could change easily. Like that's one of the.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like Ohio State does have a better staff, right?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Than K-State did. So I can see him getting better.
Yeah, you could.
We'll see. Yeah. I mean, he's got the build. Yeah, he's got the build. He's got the skills.
Yeah. So here's the breakdown. This should be a 12-win team. I'm gonna say 11. I think we drop one of these, and I don't think it's going to be Ohio State. I'm going to throw that out there. We're not losing to Ohio State, but we're going to lose one of these games, and it might be Michigan. I mean, I almost am more scared of Michigan than I am Ohio State, just because of the quarterback situation, right? I mean,
if it's not Ohio State, it's Michigan, and that's just because it's in Ann Arbor. I mean, that's a tough one. That's a tough one.
I mean, in Wisconsin, like you said, that's not easy either. But the thing is we have a higher possibility of being able to outscore that team where they can't catch up than we are with some of these other teams, because Michigan's defense is so good. Scoring back-to-back possessions against them is almost, I mean, you're like, can you even do that? I mean, it's without the help of a turnover from your defense giving you a short field or something, are you able to drive 75 yards multiple times if there's what I'm saying, like.
And that's the thing, and Dillon Gabriel is, and he's proven to do that. And arguably the biggest game last season, and in October, Red River rivalry, OU Texas, he did do that. He led the team down, he drove down the field, won the game.
Took less than a minute. I mean, 58 seconds.
Took less than a minute, 58 seconds. And he can do that, and that's and arguably the biggest stage in the entirety of the season. If you include, TV, everything, how close the game was, how much coverage it had, that's probably the biggest game outside of maybe the SEC championship. That's probably the biggest game of the season.
Yeah, I mean, and I think that you would have some Midwesterners be like, "Oh, Ohio State, Michigan." I mean, but it's like
I mean, maybe, but it hasn't been as competitive as
that's what I'm
OU
saying.
Texas
I was
has.
like, yeah, but the previous iterations of that have not been, clinched butthole tight like the last 7 seem to have been for this matchup between.
Yeah, and they always are.
So I mean, look, I have confidence, right? Like I have confidence through the roof. I think 11-1. You think 12-0. It should be 12-0. I just, things are gonna happen, and it's football. People are gonna get hurt. Something's gonna happen. You know what I'm saying? Like it's, and who knows? We might be the benefit of that. We may be the victim. It just kind of depends. But
I mean, you got 2 of the top 5 receivers in the country. I mean,
yeah,
I think the best quarterback in the country. You're there. I mean, if I had this team on NCAA 25, it's deep routes it's go every play, go. They have 98 speed.
Yeah, they are insane. It's gonna be fun to watch. I just pray for health. I pray for the safety. We'll see what happens. But yeah, that's our long-winded response on where we see the Ducks going. Next,
and it falls off from here.
Yeah,
it falls off from here.
It falls off from here. We're gonna go with Penn State here, right? Penn State, Nittany Lions, 9.5 wins is the line here for the Nittany Lions. And let me tell you, the sports books, they don't know what to make of this. Some of them have them at 9.5. Some of them have them I have one that has them at 10, and one that has them at 10.5.
Wow.
I mean, 10.5 is wild. Well, I mean, look at the schedule, right? West Virginia, right?
It's a cupcake schedule.
Look. I'm gonna say this when we.
It's good. It's Little Debbie.
When we talked about the Big 12, I said this, and I will say it again here when we talk about the Big 10. Traveling to Morgantown for your first game of the season is not easy, and last year West Virginia led that game for a little bit, okay? And they were not as good as they are this year, and West Virginia is still not great, but those teams are going to be amped, and you can't ask for a worse environment for a team that's trying to gel than on the road in Morgantown with all those hillbillies screaming at you. I am telling you that is not going to be easy for them. If they lose that game, I will not be surprised. But it's
not going to be easy for West Virginia either.
It's not. It's not. I'll give you that. I mean, but it's going to be a dogfight. It's going to be a dogfight. Please, just it
might be a dogfight.
It's going to be a single-digit victory. They're going to win by single digits. It's going to be like a 9-point win. It's going to be like a 9-point win, and it's going to it's going to be 16-7. It's going to be the final score.
Yeah, but look at the rest of the schedule. It's Little Debbie. It's Twinkies. It's snowballs. It's fucking ding dongs. It's all that shit.
It's the whole.
Look at it. Bowling Green, Kent State, Illinois, UCLA, at Wisconsin. That's a toughie. Washington. That's a toughie. At Purdue, at Minnesota, Maryland. Those are not hard games.
And then
they have to play at USC and Ohio State. Listen, they probably beat USC. They beat USC. You know why? Lincoln Riley's a bitch. That's why.
I mean, I'll give you that. So are you saying this team is an 11-1 team here? Are we saying that Ohio State's the only loss here? I mean, look.
No, they're 10-2. But listen, just replace USC with Washington.
Okay. I mean, I can live with that. But for me, it's instead of USC, it's West Virginia. I mean,
West Virginia. Wow, Morgantown. Morgantown, baby.
Burn the couches. I'm telling you, put the couches in the street, light them on fire. We're drinking moonshine until the sun comes up. It's happening. Like I'm just telling Mountaineer fans.
Do we just make the trip? Do we just make the trip to Morgantown?
You know those tickets are like gonna be crazy.
In Morgantown? Nah, not that bad.
I mean, maybe not. I mean. Let me see. I'm looking right now. You don't understand. I'm looking right now. I mean,
drinking moonshine all the way.
This game is in 14 days. We got 14.
Oh, I'm going to the OU Temple game. Damn it.
Yeah. It's the same. Like, can you even make it there if you fly, dog? Like, it's a noon kickoff. It's not even a night game. It's not even a night game. Well, that's kind of surprising.
Wait, the OU one's at 6 o'clock,
Oh my god,
actually.
Tickets are $245 a piece.
You know the OU kickoff's at 6 p.m.
Oh, we could make it. We make it in the middle of the second half. But yeah, the lowest ticket price is $231, and it is nosebleeds from the end zone.
Fuck it. Oh, we're not there for the game. We're there for the tailgate. We don't even have to get
Oh,
tickets.
that's right. You only have to go in. Holy, $432 for 50-yard line. Jesus, I believe it.
Yeah.
That's 284 on the very top deck. Jesus. Yeah, no, that's. I mean, hey, that place is gonna be litty. I would like to tailgate that. That'd be fun. That would be an experience. But yeah, noon kickoff. I don't know. That noon kickoff kind of makes me lean more towards Penn State because they're gonna. I mean, they get rowdy, but I don't know about getting rowdy at 12 o'clock in the afternoon. I mean, they're gonna be rowdy, but I mean, how rowdy can you feel like more crazy stuff happens at night? But maybe that'll benefit them because it'll be early on, and people got to wake up. I mean, the pre-workouts got to.
It really doesn't matter.
It's. I would say that's a good rivalry game. This is a rivalry game. This is a rivalry.
They're right
game.
there. They're close together.
Yeah. So It'll be fun. It'll be a fun watch for sure. It'll be a good watch before the OU game. I'll definitely be tuned into that. But yeah, I think this is a 10-win team. 10-2 is probably, I mean, just because, like you said, the schedule is just soft. It's a soft schedule, but the thing is, Penn State always has a soft schedule.
Yeah, well, they should do something about that. Maybe that's why they're soft now.
Yeah, they need to go to the ACC. Wait, that's not gonna help.
Yeah, you're just gonna have to stay in that Big Ten. Trust me.
Yeah, you're gonna
listen. About 2 seasons tops, it's gonna be SEC and Big Ten only.
Yep, merge them.
Yep,
merge them. ACC and Big 12 merging. And
just make it all one conference. Just make it one conference.
Everybody has 32 regular season games, and we never have a break from football except for 1 month.
Listen, you just do 12 random teams. Fuck it. Divisions. Do divisions. It's simple.
No, fuck it. I want NBA lottery style ping pong balls for your schedule.
Oh, here we go.
I want ping pong. I want lottery style ping pong balls for schedules.
Or we could do relegation like they do in soccer.
Yeah, you use the Premier League relegation stuff. I mean,
let's promote North Dakota State and South Dakota State, and let's get rid of Kent State and Kennesaw State.
Done. Already 1 year, Kennesaw State. Back down you go.
Back down. Get out of here.
Can we just get Rutgers in the FCS and see if they can do anything?
No, I love Rutgers. I love Rutgers.
The first.
I had a prosciutto mozzarella sandwich right before this.
Hey, there you go. There you go. Look, this moves us on to as you said, downhill we go. 4.5-win Purdue is the next one on the list here, Zach. Their schedule is pretty tough.
That's looking about right.
They've got Indiana State, Oregon State, Nebraska, and Northwestern as their wins. They've got Notre Dame, Wisconsin, Illinois, Oregon, Ohio State, Penn State, Michigan State, and Indiana as their losses. Now, here's the thing: is 4.5 is definitely not great, right? I mean, that's but
it's
bad.
Accurate.
It's accurate. I think it's pretty accurate. If you look at the sports book, when you talk about Purdue, you're talking about a team that nobody's even listing on here. See all. There we go. They are way down here. It looks
Boilermakers are not favorites.
Yeah, it looks like to me we're looking at just. My God. Okay, here we go.
It's a terrible schedule for them.
Two of them have them at 4 wins. So again, we're leaning a little bit towards more of the 4-win than the 5-win scenario here. CBS has them at 4 wins, so they're picking the under here. With wins with Indiana State, Oregon State, Nebraska. They have them beating Nebraska at home and Northwestern at home. I mean, look, they're going to lose to Nebraska, but they're probably going to beat Indiana or Michigan State. I think those are kind of where you're flip-flopping.
Listen, I think this is a 3-win team.
Oh, really? You just think it's Indiana State and Northwestern and who else? Indiana? Okay.
Yeah, because I don't have them beating Oregon State, and I don't think they beat Nebraska. So they beat Indiana State, they beat Northwestern, they beat Indiana. Yeah, three wins.
No, yeah, I'm with you now. No, you've convinced me. This is a 3-win team. This team sucks. This team's
bad.
They
can't like in Oregon State, at Oregon State. That's not happening.
Yeah, no, it's bad. You're losing to Notre Dame for sure. You're losing to Wisconsin on the road for sure. Illinois, like I said, is a decent team. They're just not going to be in the Big Ten championship game or anything. That's like a 7-win team, maybe 8-win team if they're lucky. It's not going to be, and that's on the road in Champaign. You're getting cooked. Oregon at home doesn't matter. Ohio State doesn't matter. Penn State doesn't matter. Michigan State and Indiana, like you said, Indiana's probably a win, but Nebraska at home is definitely a loss for Purdue, and I would say on the road in Corvallis a loss as well. So I think you're very good
Yeah.
at that, and I think it's a 3-win team. Pick the under.
Hit the under, 100%.
And speaking
Rutgers.
of Rutgers, they've got them at 6.5 wins. They said Rutgers is going bowling, baby, and you know what? I am okay with that because their schedule, like you said, is Charmin soft, baby.
Yeah.
I mean, this is soft. We've got 6.5 almost across the board. 2 books won't even list them, and one of them's got them at 6. So I mean, like this is. You got wins against Howard, Akron. They have them beating Washington, which I think that might be a little bit capped. UCLA a win, Minnesota a win, which I think you probably disagree with on that. Illinois a win, I disagree with that. Losses at Virginia Tech, Nebraska, Wisconsin, USC, Maryland, and Michigan State. Give me a win against Maryland. Give me a win against Michigan State. Give me losses to Washington and Minnesota, or give me losses to Minnesota, Illinois, and Washington. I think this is probably a 5-win team.
Yeah. Yeah. This is a 4-win team.
Yeah, you think? I mean, it's definitely under 6.5.
They beat Howard, they beat Akron, and they beat UCLA. They beat Illinois. They're losing to Washington. I don't even know why the fuck CBS thinks that. And then they're losing to Minnesota, like you said. I like Minnesota.
Yeah. Will Rogers is. I mean, is Will Rogers that good? Like, I know what I'm saying. Like, I feel like he's better than Will Howard. I don't know. Like him at Mississippi State.
I'm just gonna like, if you asked me like last season, mid-season, I'd probably say Will Rogers. But the problem is, I do think that Ohio State's going to make Will Howard decent.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, they're going to make him look a lot better than he ever looked at Kansas State.
Yeah, like the weapons he has, yeah, he's going to look good.
You have people being like, he looks like Josh Allen out there. It's like, that's kind of a scary thought. I don't really believe it, but I could see you trying to window dress it.
No, he just needs to be Brock Purdy. That's what he needs to be.
Yeah, that's what he needs to be. Is San Francisco, not even Iowa State Brock Purdy. Be San Francisco Brock Purdy.
Yeah, not Iowa State Brock Purdy. Iowa State Brock Purdy was a problem.
It was a problem, unless he was playing Oklahoma State. Then it wasn't really.
Yeah, it was a problem for OU. He kept us away from the playoffs.
Yeah, he's a bitch. Not a fan. Not a fan. Yeah, I mean this is. I mean it's Rutgers. Like they haven't been good since Ray Rice has been there. I'll say.
Yeah.
But yeah, it'll be, and they're gonna be a decent team to watch. It'll be better than they have been. So good for Rutgers fans. I have a couple that I know. Good for them.
Yeah, good for them. Good for Tony Soprano.
Yeah, there you go. UCLA next on the list here. 5.5 is the line they've got here on CBS. Over here at Vegas Insiders, if you look at UCLA, they have got them at. Oh, I'm scrolling down. The list, where are you? Yeah, there it is. 4.5. I got a couple that are going 5. Couple going 5 here. CBS has them winning 5. I don't really see a lot listed at 5.5. I see mainly 4.5 here. I see 4.5 here instead of 5.5. So it's gone down, Zach, since this article came out. I would say 4.5 is the real line here. You look at the schedule here for the Bruins. They've got Hawaii on the road, Indiana at home, Minnesota at home, Iowa, Fresno State at home. They're on the road against LSU week 1. They got Oregon at home. They're on the road at Penn State, on the road at Rutgers, on the road at Nebraska and Washington, but they have USC at home. I mean, what can you even tell me about what UCLA is going to even be this year, their first year in the Big Ten?
This one's tough. I mean, this might be a 3-win team. I think they probably lose to Minnesota and Iowa, right? CBS has them beating them.
Yeah, Iowa's kind of the one I would be wary about. I know they're supposed to be so much better. I just don't. If they can score touchdowns, they'll be okay. If Cade McNamara can move that offense, that's kind of what's going to dictate whether
it's an offense. It's over.
Yeah, it's
number one in the country. We're done.
Yeah, it's over. National champion. Yeah. yeah, Hawaii is a win. I would say Indiana's a win. Fresno State's a win. Um, I would even say USC could be a win. You know how those games
Wow.
go. Those games could. I mean, you know how those games go. They start out with. I mean, we saw one year where USC had to come back by like 20 something points. You know, because they were down so bad.
You know what? Fuck it. Yeah, they beat USC. Fuck it. I
Yeah,
hate Lincoln Riley.
yeah. I think this was a 4-win team. I think you're looking at Hawaii, Indiana, Fresno State, and USC. I think those are your wins. I think those are your 4 wins. If it's not USC, give me Rutgers as a win. I mean, those are those are the two that I would substitute in for Minnesota, and I mean, and Iowa. I think Iowa, Minnesota probably losses, like you said. So Hawaii, Indiana, Fresno State, Rutgers, USC. Give me 5 wins. Give me 5 wins for UCLA. All right, not making a bowl game. All right.
All right, let's get to the hate train.
All right, time for the hate train. It's USC time, baby. Time for the hate train. Welcome
There we go,
to the
baby.
hate train. Boop, boop. All right. Look, USC
Keep that bitch in California.
7.5 is the 7.5 is the total for USC, and you know people out there in Pasadena are itching to see what Lincoln Riley's got cooked up with Miller Moss in this newfangled offense. But the real question for me, Zach, is what kind of improvement are you expecting to see on the defensive side for the Trojans? And do you think there's going to be pretty significant improvement without Alex Grinch being the play caller?
No, because Lincoln Riley can't pick a defensive coach to save his fucking ass. No way. And Lincoln Riley's probably going to be an offensive coordinator in like 3 years' times. No fucking gap. Now back to the first point about how he's like cooking up an offense with Miller Moss. No, it's going to look like his fucking brisket. That's what his offense is going to look like. It's going to look fucking terrible. And listen, USC here, right? The CBS has them at 7.5 wins. They have them winning 8. I don't buy that for a fucking second.
Well,
Let me tell you why.
I'll tell
This is
you.
a
Well,
6-win team. It's
well,
a 6-win team. It
and
might be a 5-win team.
and Vegas Insider would back you up on this. There's 4 books that have them at 7.5. 2 of them have them at 6. And the thing is you know, the over for 6 is definitely the trail here. But I mean, I think it's just going to be 6 exactly. I think this is a bottom of the barrel, like Armed Forces Bowl probably team here for USC. I think you beat Utah State. I think you beat Maryland. I think you beat Rutgers. I think you beat. I think you beat Washington. I think you. I mean, ooh, I don't know. I don't. Yeah, maybe. Ooh, 5. Yeah, 5. 5. Give me 5. Give me. I started looking at this and I'm like, they're not gonna.
Listen.
They're
It's
not
simple.
beating Nebraska.
Utah State.
They're not beating Nebraska.
Not
They're
beating
not
Nebraska.
beating UCLA. They're not beating
They're
Minnesota.
going to beat Utah State.
They're not beating
They're
Minnesota.
going to beat.
No, they could.
They're gonna beat Minnesota. I think.
It's on the
so
road. On the road.
They beat Utah State. They beat Minnesota. They beat Maryland. They beat Rutgers. They beat Washington. 5. That is 5 wins. They were on 5 and 7. They're not going bowling. Lincoln Riley gets fired.
Ooh, I like it. 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 Look, I'm going 6. I think. I think they go bowling. I think it's a 6-6 team though. I think you lose to LSU.
Where?
I think here's my 6 wins. Utah State, Wisconsin, Minnesota, Maryland, Rutgers, Washington.
You think they beat Wisconsin?
I think they beat Wisconsin. It's early on in the season enough for me to think that they'll be healthy enough to do that. I just don't know if it'll be a good test to see where Wisconsin's at. I think that's kind of what you circle that game as their best test. Is that? I mean, because that's early on, right? That's early on in the season. Sure, it looks like it is from my perspective.
I think it's like week 2. I think.
Yeah, I was like, they have them listed pretty good on here as far as like where they are in the schedule and where they are in the season. I'm looking at week 2 right now to see if Rockets not.
We got some toughies coming up. We got 2 tough ones coming up.
Yeah, this is where things. So I mean, so you're pretty good with 5. I think 6 is probably where we're at here.
Either way, just bet the under.
Yeah, bet the under. That's where we came to. Yeah, week 2, Wisconsin plays South Dakota, so this has got to be. See where this is. I'm clicking Wisconsin as far as portion of. Okay, it's week 4. Week 4. Ooh, they play them. They play them right after they play Alabama. Ooh, I don't like Wisconsin after that. You have to play Alabama, then you have to play USC after that. I don't like that. For Wisconsin might not have a good record. They might be an okay team, but their record is not going to reflect that.
No, I think Lincoln Riley's going to be that bad without Caleb Williams to save his ass.
I mean, yeah. Well, we'll see. But pick the under 7.5. I've got him at 6. Zach's got him at 5. And that leads us into Washington. Washington here, 7 wins is what they've got him at here. 7-win Washington team. The Vegas Insider here, for most of the books, I think they agree mostly with what we're looking at right here. They've got 6.5 across the board here. So they think a half a game less. So they're picking the under 7 here. CBS says 7 exact, so they're picking the over 6.5 because that line's moved since this article came out. So technically, we're at 6.5. CBS is picking the over. How do you break down the Huskies' schedule this?
I mean, I'm thinking 6 and 6. I'm looking at wins at Weber State, Eastern Michigan, Washington State, Northwestern, Indiana. I think they lose to USC, like we said. And they beat UCLA, so that leaves them at 6 wins. So they're losing to Rutgers, they're losing to Michigan, they're losing at Iowa, they're losing at Penn State, they're losing at Oregon badly, and then they're losing to USC.
Just flip Rutgers and UCLA for me, and I agree.
You think so?
I think they beat Rutgers, lose to UCLA.
But that's all right.
But I think we're kind of on the same page here. I think this is a 7-win team.
Yeah, and it's the thing, it's like new coach, right?
Yeah.
Right. You got Fish going in there.
Mm-hmm.
They're losing a lot of recruits.
Yeah.
Obviously not the same team they were coming off the national championship appearance last season. Pennis goes to the draft. Odunze goes to the draft. You lose pretty much everybody. This is still a good team. Don't get me wrong. This is still a good team. Washington's always going to be fine, but Fish is going to need a little bit of time.
Yeah, well, and the schedule helps them out a lot. I think it was a first-year coach who couldn't ask for a better schedule.
Yeah, you want that schedule. I think you scheduled some tough defensive opponents.
Yes, but this is the thing. It's going to depend on how good Will Rogers looks and what he can use with the bones that are left from the team that's gone. The thing is I don't know if we can even say at this point that Will Rogers made a uphill move from Mississippi State to Washington as far as what he's got at his disposal and how good those teams are. I think if Washington and Mississippi State played week 1, that would be probably a really close game. I think.
No, I don't know about that. That's 2 first-year head coaches. I mean,
but doesn't that lean into this is gonna be a close game thing? Like if you got 2 first-year coaches, I mean, it's gonna be ugly football. It's gonna be ugly football.
I'm not gonna. All right, listen. I'm not a fan of Jeff Lebby. not a huge fan after all the behind the line of scrimmage plays we had last season.
Ooh, yeah. I mean, I'm just saying. Do you think Will Rogers made it a lateral move? I think it's a lateral move. I don't think you are in a better situation.
Really. I think it's an upgrade. Washington's a better program than Mississippi State.
But they have probably a little bit better pieces, right? You would think.
Yeah, they're coming off a national championship game. They have better pieces. They have better coaching.
We just said everybody was gone, so I don't know. I mean,
and they lost a lot of their players, but they still have most of their faculty. A lot of their staff.
The English teacher's still there. Hasn't put in the request for the transfer portal. The janitor's staying, baby. Mr. Rodriguez
janitor's there. It's
here.
An important role. It's an important role. You need that continuity in your life. You need that loyalty, and that's going to really show on the field.
All right, I'll give you that. All right, good for Will Rogers. It's not a lateral move. Good for him. Look, this is still a 7.
It's a small step.
They're gonna go bowling. It'll be a good bowl game.
It's like a speed bump. It's like a speed bump, and he's like on the upward trajectory.
Have fun in the Hawaii Bowl.
And it's a bowl, and it's in Hawaii.
Yeah, have fun. It's gonna be a good time. Um, and that leads us to the bottom, right? This is Wisconsin. This is Wisconsin, man. This is this. They
This is
have
a
them at
tough one.
7. A lot of sports books have them at 6.5. 4 out of the 6 have them at 6.5. 2 of them have them at 7. Um, the overs for the 6.5 are very much leaning towards this being a 7-win team. CBS has them as a 6-win team. They have the under here. It doesn't matter if it's 7 or 6.5. They have them winning 6. And you look at the schedule here, Zach, and that's kind of the problem.
Yes. This team is oh God. This is the hard one to predict. One, because I gotta remember all my predictions from that I made before.
Well, let's start out with the obvious here. Alabama's a loss, right?
Loss.
Alabama's
Big
a loss.
time loss.
Fine. Alabama. Okay.
Fat loss.
Okay.
One of the fattest losses.
Yeah.
In fact, the biggest loss. Some are
Yeah,
saying.
probably biggest loss. Western Michigan a win, so you got 1-1
Yeah.
right there. South Dakota a win, that's 2-1. Purdue at home 3-1. Rutgers on the road 4-1. At Northwestern 5-1. Minnesota at home, that's a loss. I'm gonna say 5-2 there.
It's a loss. 5-2.
5-2. All right. At USC
5 and
5-2.
6 and 2.
6-2 for you. 6-2 for you. Penn State a loss for sure. 6-3.
6-3.
At Iowa a loss. 6-4. Oregon and Nebraska
yeah.
a loss on the road. And Nebraska, is this really a 6-win team?
6-6.
Man, so pick the under. I just feel like we hyped up Wisconsin a little bit. Well, I guess we were talking about my Ducks.
Well, look, you gotta think about it. Yeah, like look at their schedule.
I mean, if it's not 6, it's 7, right? I think 7's the ceiling, right? Can we say 7's
Yeah,
the ceiling?
6. This is a low variable team. I think 6 is the floor and 7 might be the ceiling.
That's what I'm saying. There's not a lot of wiggle room here.
There's no wiggle room. Like there's very few teams. Like there are teams out of the 12 teams that they play, right?
Yeah.
You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I would say 10. No, 11 of them are like surefire things. The outcome is like for sure going to happen. It's really like that Minnesota game.
Yeah, the Minnesota game is going to probably be the difference between your 6 and 7. Right? Like, I mean, if it's not, if it's not that game, it's the Iowa game. Well, I guess you could say Nebraska. Nebraska would probably be the second one on that list. Then Iowa.
Well, the biggest difference for getting to 7, I think, is Iowa.
I think it's Nebraska. I think it's Nebraska.
I have Nebraska. Listen, I have a lot of faith in Nebraska.
I can't even remember what you said about them. I know you were high on them. I know that. I mean, I could go up here. Look, okay, so you had
Rayola is nice.
7.5 was the number they gave us for Nebraska. They got UTEP, Colorado, Northern Iowa, Illinois, Rutgers, Indiana, UCLA, Wisconsin, Purdue, Ohio State, USC, and Iowa. I mean, technically a pretty cake schedule, right? UTEP will win, Colorado will win, Northern Iowa will win. Oh, I said Colorado's a loss, but I mean, you know what I'm saying. Place that with SC or Iowa. 8-win team. Yeah, I mean Nebraska's good, but I mean going on the road in Nebraska probably going to be a night game, I would think. It's going to be later in the season, so we'll kind of see.
Their quarterback situation is nice. Listen, Rayola is good. He's going to end up starting.
No, he's a starter. I think he's a starter. I think Rayola is going to start for sure. He's going to start at least most of the games. Are they even going to? Is he really not even a starter?
That other guy that they have, he's a veteran. I forget his name.
Jeff Sims? They're not starting Sims. Didn't he leave?
Yeah. No.
After that embarrassing performance up in Boulder, he didn't leave?
Come on. Who they got? What's his name?
Looked here.
I can't find his name. I think he is the starter.
Yeah, I was like, he's got to be, because I think Jeff Sims is gone now.
This article I just read said they're taking him over Dylan Gabriel. That's crazy.
Ooh, what? Who? Wait, say that again.
Yeah, they were saying it said in quotes actually. It said some are saying Dylan Gabriel is the best quarterback in the country. I would take Dylan Raiola every day and twice on Sundays.
Jesus. I love how like on being the only players they list for Nebraska are all guards. Oh, it's is that well, that's got to be yeah 6'7" guard number 3. Yeah, it's definitely fucking roster. Official football roster for 2020 edition. Crap. I'm looking. Why is this not numerically? It's really bad. Oh, it's alphabetically. That's the worst. All right, we got one senior, Western College. That's not going to be a starter. Oh,
Beach Boys.
Heinrich Harburg Jr. I don't think. I mean, Daniel Kalen, freshman, not going to start. I think it's Rayola. Longval, not going to start.
I might be thinking of something else. I might be thinking of a different school.
You might be, but I mean, regardless, I think he's definitely the star. Yeah, Dylan Raiola definitely. I don't think you've got anybody else. Bodie Suckup. Yeah, none of these names are ringing a bell at all. So I think it's Rayola time. So I mean that's probably a loss then. I think that's a loss on the road in Lincoln for sure. They've got that right for sure. They've got them going 7-5. I think 6-6 is probably where Wisconsin lands.
Yep.
So
Simple.
take the under 6.5. I know that's where the line is right now. The 7th win, like we said, could be USC, could be Iowa, but definitely not Minnesota. So you're gonna have to swap one of those out. I mean, I think you swap Minnesota with USC. I think Wisconsin can win on the road against USC.
I think they will.
Yeah, fuck Lincoln Riley.
Fuck Lincoln Riley. Fuck him. Fuck him.
So as we get out of here, Zach, like, give me your final thoughts on the Big Ten here and kind of where you see who you see in the Big Ten championship game and kind of where you see the season going for most of these.
Divisionless, right?
Yes, divisionless.
Oregon, Michigan, Big Ten championship. State not making it. They're still making the playoffs. Oregon, Michigan, Big Ten championship. Oregon wins the Big Ten championship. Oregon gets a bye in the first round of the playoffs. Oregon wins the semifinal game, and Oregon wins the fucking championship.
Well, I'm going to agree with you. But I think it's probably going to be an Ohio State rematch. I think the more we've talked about this and the more we've kind of pointed out the benefits that Will Howard has moving from Kansas State up to Columbus, I think this team is going to look a lot better than they deserve to. I think Ohio State's going to look a lot better than they deserve to. He's going to look a lot better than he deserves to. And I think that the defense and the running game are really going to carry Ohio State this season. I don't think they're going to air it out a lot. I think this is going to be a Judkins and defense kind of team here. And Ryan Day is going to have to change his identity because that has not really been the way they've been running that offense the last few years with C.J. Stroud behind center. And just the quarterbacks that they've had in general have not really catered to the we're going to run first kind of offense. And I think, like you said, even if they go 10-2, right? If they lose the playoff game or if they only win one playoff game, I don't know if Ohio State fans are ready to keep Ryan Day any further. I even though most coaches, I think 99% of coaches, if you were winning as many games as Ryan Day has won in the last, however long he's been there, you're probably not getting canned. But this is Ohio State. This is the Ohio State. I think that they're just not okay with just being plateau.
They're not, and I think he's fired after this season. Especially if they don't make the playoffs, he's gone. Especially with the expansion, he's gone.
And I hear rumor on it is if he's gone, Lincoln Riley's set to take his place. I mean, they've just got him shoehorned in there.
What a terrible decision.
It would be bad, right? I think no. I think the first call they make is to Mike Gundy.
Wow.
He's gonna say no. I mean, he's always said no. I don't think he wants to move up there. I think he's very content with.
The first call they make is to Dan Lannon.
Dude, no shot. No shot.
That's the first call they make.
He wouldn't do that, man. I think you have to think about it realistically. I think you could go after Lincoln Riley because I think USC fans are going to want him gone, and I think that Ohio State AD is dumb enough to want to bring him in for the offense, and I think that that's more plausible. I mean, calling Mike Gundy, everybody calls Mike Gundy every offseason, and he tells them to go fuck themselves. I mean, remember when Tennessee supposedly wanted Mike Gundy? That never happened.
All right. So realistically, then two names I'm thinking of:
Yeah.
Sarkisian,
that's
Norvell.
I think that's true. I think they call Billy Napier too. He's doing a great job down there in Florida. I think you give him a call. No, I think Norvell and Sarkisian are really good. You probably call Deion Sanders. You probably call Deion Sanders just for the funsies.
I don't.
You interview.
Dude, we're here to play football. We're not here to play TV.
I mean, do you call Luke Fickell?
I don't hate it.
I mean, I know hasn't been where he's at very long, 1 year, but I mean, like, or well, he's at
Do
Cincinnati.
you call Kyle Whitney?
I would think about it strongly. He's done a great job at Utah, and I think that'd be actually, you know what? I like that, to be honest. I like the Utah to
That's a
Ohio
good
State.
call.
That right there, buddy. That might be the move. Because think about it, Big 12, not really like the third best conference, right? Like third best, right? Not top two. You're making it. That's an upgrade. You have the recruiting power of Utah, which is literally nothing. And what you've done with that, you move that up to Columbus. Oh, that's trouble. That's trouble. I mean, and think about this: the turnover after this season. Like my Ducks are going to lose a ton of players. Michigan's losing even more players on the defensive side of the ball. I mean, it would be a good move. It'd be a good move. What kind of contracts he got going on? Do we know? Because that seems like the move to me. I mean, if you can't get Sarkisian, like I think Sarkisian would probably be your first call. Norvell probably. Norvell would be my third. I think I would still want Whittingham over Norvell. And I feel like Whittingham would be more willing to leave than Norvell.
They could poach Kansas State. They could poach Kansas.
Yeah, they could do that. Leopold's okay. I don't know if I'd call him.
Leopold's okay. Kleiman.
Okay, but the thing is, you just brought a Kansas State guy in this year. You think that's gonna be weird to like? I know he's not gonna be there, but it's like you brought in a quarterback this year. Now you're bringing their coach next year. Why didn't you just bring them both the first time? Like,
I mean, because Ohio State and do whatever they want.
I mean, what is? Let me.
I think my first call is Kyle Whitney. Well, no, my first call is probably Dan Lanning.
Oh, he just got
extended. Probably calling Sarkisian.
He just got extended, but like the money doesn't really matter.
Yeah, who cares? The contracts don't matter.
I mean, yeah, like he's supposed to make $6 million this year, and could make up to $8 million a year by 2027. I mean, he's expensive, but again, it's Ohio State, so that doesn't really matter.
Yeah, the money's there.
I mean, yeah, I think that's it. I think that's kind of. I think that would kind of be the move, to be honest. You just buy him out, and just send Ryan Day to Utah. Just trade.
Get him out of there.
Trade him. Swap him. But yeah, that covers the Big Ten for us. Appreciate you hanging out with me and getting it done. We got big stuff coming up. We got SEC left. I know Zach's itching for some SEC, baby. I
got a 12-0 team you'll never expect.
Yeah, it's Kentucky. He told me already. He's supposed to.
It's Florida.
And all hail Billy Napier. You've done it, boy. you brought
the Gators are here.
You brought him back.
The Gators are here. Tim Tebow had another year.
Brought him back. All right, folks. For Will back here in the studio, Zach out remote out at Castle Huffman. we will join you for episode 74, and it should be tasty. Keep stick on the ice, and
And keep your tongue ready for the taste.
you got a week left, boys. Lock in.